Have a good meeting tonight, a lot of important information, legislative, legal, et cetera, et cetera. A bunch of stuff to go on, and reminders about a bunch of stuff that's coming up. I will be talking to you in a little bit in my section about stuff to go on. And Mr. Varner is pointing at something, and I don't understand. He's waving me off and saying, I don't understand. Okay, so, to begin with, the start of every meeting, is there anyone for whom this is their very first meeting? Anyone? Maybe the first meeting you've been coherent. Okay, so seeing that there's not been anyone here who wants to lay claim to that, sir, since you're in the front row and at the edge of the table, would you please come forward and assist me with a tradition, the Pledge of Allegiance. Ladies and gentlemen, rise, covers.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, a bunch of stuff to go on tonight. First of all, we always start with the soapbox. First of all, we have with us a gentleman who is on the knife edge of information regarding the Second Amendment, fighting the battle of disinformation with information. Would you please give a very warm welcome to Mr. Guy Smith?
I won't be quick because I am anxious to hear Don and all the latest reports. First thing, we had the annual Gun Facts fundraiser. We had a lot of leftover swag. It's all back on the table, so make sure to get your raffle tickets. There's some leftover coasters and cozies. Do you got the shot glass?
I have a shot glass.
And
the shot glass.
I plead the second shot glass, get the pun. And there's also some posters back there, and what we did this year was that we got photographs of some infamous people, Adolf Hitler, Kim Jong-il, some guy from ISIS, and we put some rather strategic crosshairs right across their ridge brow. So that is hateful, and I hate those people. And I've heard, and maybe Don can clarify this for me, that in the state of California it's illegal to either produce or to sell a target that has a photographic image of a real human being on it. And if that's the case, since there's a camera here, to the politicians in Sacramento, bite me.
Real human beings.
Real human beings. That is a qualifying point. But as far as I'm concerned, plugging holes in a piece of paper of some evil people is a First Amendment stand and statement. And if there's ever a pro bono lawyer who would handle a First Amendment case, I would gladly be the subject of it. Second, on the table back there, you will find one piece of graphics from the Gun Facts blog. If you're not subscribed, please do, because that's where we're putting all the new research up first. And what we discovered by digging through some trace records is that states that have strict gun control laws primarily get their crime guns first from their state, but then their second most frequent source is from other strict law states. You know the myth that goes around, they say, you know, weak law states like Alabama or Georgia or Kentucky are the source for crime guns. It's actually the opposite. In New York, your first source of crime guns is New York. Your second choice, I think, is Connecticut or something like that, and then it goes to Illinois and places like that. So please go there, grab that, put it up on Facebook, social media. If you go to the blog, just look for interstate gun trafficking mythology, or if you're really handy, go to tinyurl.com/weakguns. And other than that, finally, we got all the software written, which means that we're finally going to get around to producing an updated version of the PDF version of Gun Facts. That will be out before the summer is done, and that means you'll have the PDF to distribute to people. The new printed edition will be available. A lot of people like to buy copies for their Congress critters, providing that you have a Congress critter who actually knows how to read. And that, thank you, sir.
Well, before you go, and an opportunity for someone, a silver-tongued devil, who might like to advance the cause of the Second Amendment and the work of this gentleman. Mr. Guy, Mr. Smith needs help contacting people who should be supporting him financially. He has contacts from people for the SHOT Show and stuff like that. If you have a sales aptitude, specifically phoning and warm kind of calls, not definitely cold. If you want to earn a few extra bucks, this is the man to talk to, because he, as adept as he has in information and rhetoric, doesn't have that silver tongue. And he's looking for a silver-tongued devil, so please talk to Mr. Smith. We would love to have your help. Thank you very much. Green Wings, ladies and gentlemen, as you very well know, every year there is an event put on for kids up in, I want to say, Morro Bay area. So it's one of the connector highways between the coast and Highway 280. But a bunch of kids come out there, they learn how to shoot bow and arrows, they do safety training, all this other stuff. Mr. Varner has a safety training, gun safety training rig that we set up there to help him do the safety training and shoot. It's a great chance to meet kids and do stuff and pass the word about safety training and guns and all that. If you have any time on Sunday, should be this weekend, please talk to Mr. Varner. He would love to have an extra volunteer or two to help him out with that.
That's Half
Moon Bay, excuse me, I'm sorry. Jess Guy, did you have anything on the gun buyback or no?
Well,
tell us about the things that were turned in that we would cry if we knew they were going to be destroyed.
there was a lot of junk. I think the sheriff's office and the PD pretty well drained all the lawsuits in Santa Clara County. Just a lot of junk. And the last two guns that came in of any interest this time, a brand new M1A, literally brand new, beautiful rifle, and a real old AR-15 that probably early 70s it was mint. Those are the only two I saw out of all the turn-ins that even tickled my fancy. It's just a lot of junk. You know, one dealer come in with 41 guns, you got to pay for them.
A dealer?
Yeah.
Ah, smart man.
Yeah.
Bottom line is, this program may have less luster now that it's kind of worn off. Okay. All right. Enough of that stuff. Now, officer and committee reports done. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
If I may address the room, this would be really brief.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. So I've been out there on Facebook. You guys have seen the most recent incident of a psychotic shooting, which is being blamed on racism and a lack of gun control. So I've been out there, been very vocal about it. There's a couple of items that are not being addressed by the mass media, one of which is the overprescription of antipsychotic drugs. If you look at every single, or at least a very large majority of these recent shooting incidents, every single one of them was a psychotic person who had mental illness who was also under the treatment of antipsychotic drugs. And not only that, they may or may not have been misusing illegal drugs in a combination with that. You won't hear anything about that in the media. I'm hoping it's because they're focusing on the racism and the gun control issue. I'm hoping it's not because Big Pharma is shoving money into the underwear of our politicians and the media and that they are ignoring the issue altogether. That particular issue needs to be addressed. And the other issue, you know, we keep talking about we need more gun controls. I think that we need to keep guns from falling into the hands of psychotic people. But one of the things that we have not heard anything about in any of these cases is that in a majority of them, the guns came from legal, irresponsible gun owners who allowed, either through their own ignorance, negligence, or being enablers, in the case of at least two of these incidents, the parents gave their known to be mentally ill children weapons. Okay? I personally believe in the Second Amendment, but I think that we need to do a better job of making an example of the ones who are allowing guns to fall into the hands of psychotic people who are giving us all a bad name. Every single time one of these events comes up, I cringe. You know, I'm a responsible non-felon gun owner. I'm registered, the government knows most of the guns that I have, and it bothers me every single time somebody else, some idiot, allows, either through their own negligence or irresponsibility or even giving their weapons to somebody who shouldn't have one. And then we hear of a sad incident like this. In addition to that, combined many or most of the time with the use of either prescribed or illegal drugs. So let's get to the core of all the issues that need to be addressed, not just new gun control laws. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Don, I think you have a commitment later tonight. How soon do you have to be out of here, Mr. Gilmer? How soon do you have to be out of here?
I got all night.
All night. Okay, you're in it. Okay. So, officers' committee reports. So, once again, reminders. One of the ways we support this room is when you buy stuff at the back, raffle tickets. We have barbecue tickets on sale. Remember, your bucks that you pay for to get you the big deal, all the stuff that goes on, and 2 chances to, or 3 chances to win 1 or both of the guns back there. We have a semi-auto shotgun from Weatherby. We have the Plinker from Mossberg, and a bunch of other stuff that's going to be going on. Kids, if you know any kids that need to get safety training, bring them to the barbecue, get them fed for free, get all the safety training done. We'll get them squared away, and all the other stuff that goes with it. Also, we have our prize drawing table and all this stuff like that. So, enough of that, off that. Now, officer committee meal receipts, by the way, if you got a meal and you didn't turn it into the front ticket at the register, please let us know here so we can take care of that for you. Now, Mr. Varner, where's Mr. Varner at? Mr. Varner? Oh, he's outside. Okay, take it. All right, let's see, officer committee reports. San Jose Gun Show. We have a gun show this weekend, and we need to put on a face out there to make sure that we're, 1, doing interface with the public, and then 2, making sure they know about the barbecue and the other things like that. I have myself, Mr. Brad Alexander, and Larry James scheduled for Saturday morning. Is there anybody else who would be interested in popping out there for Saturday? Okay, once again, this is part of our job. If we're not doing outreach, if we're not touching base with people and putting the information in their hands, we don't do our job. And we need to interface with the young, too. This is one of the few outreaches that we do. So it's important, if you as a member, that you do contribute in that area. So does anybody have time on Saturday morning? Seeing none. All right, and then Sunday we have people already scheduled up, so we have that there. For those people who are going to be on Saturday morning shift, Brad and Larry, if you'd be kind enough, I'm going to need some help setting up our awning out front. And if you might have access to 4 pieces of cinder block that we can use to weigh down the legs on that thing so the wind doesn't come away, please bring them. And we'll get that thing loaded up there. Any questions on that? Seeing none? Okay. Barbecue tickets, etc., etc. Okay, officer committee reports, Mr. Brad Sykers.
I'll make mine pretty quick tonight. I've got a slightly different moral report. This time it's Uber. I don't know if you guys have heard about Uber, and one of their drivers was able to stop mass shooting. It kind of was coming out and shooting into a crowd, and the Uber driver got out of his car and shot him and stopped him. In response, Uber said, well, we can't have our passenger drivers carrying guns around. That would make people feel uncomfortable. We had a successful use of defensive use of the handgun, but we can't have that. So they banned guns. So if you use Uber, even if you don't use Uber, get on Facebook, get on Uber's site, and let it be known that that's a stupid decision. It's completely contrary to all logic. So that was one. The other one doesn't have anything to do with guns, but he's still a moron, Chief Justice Roberts. And his Obamacare decision today, it was like, the law was written specifically to encourage states to do their own exchanges. That was why it was written, that it was only states that exchanges would get the subsidies. And they just completely ignored that. They just went completely counter to all logic and fact and written law. So I don't know how many of you knew that was why the intent of why they wrote that law that way. Roberts is an idiot. I thought I liked him when we got him, but I don't anymore. Maybe Mr. Don might have some more statements about that too. That's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Now, the Secretary, Madam Carolyn Seidel.
I have a few things. I know some of you are on Facebook, some of you are not. I see a few of you out there. But a lot of times there are really interesting stories out there. And one of the contributors recently, he was talking about, as a grandfather, he was talking about in February, he was having breakfast with his 10-year-old granddaughter. He said, "Do you know what today is?" He said, "Yeah, it's President's Day." So he thought, well, she's pretty smart. He said, "Well, do you know what President's Day means?" And he thought she was going to say something about Obama or Clinton or one of those. He says, "Yeah, it's when the president steps outside the White House, he sees his own shadow, and we have one more year of bullshit." So the other interesting one that I saw, and you know, there are all kinds of characters on Facebook, but true. There are all kinds of characters that are on Facebook. Some of them, like Grumpy Cat, has a page, and I did find a grizzly bear, and he had a concern about the Second Amendment. He says, "You know, I'm not too sure about the Second Amendment. Where exactly are these bear arms coming from?" So, yes. Also for the zombie lovers, we had a little report on zombies. They say officials say that everyone escaped the wave of zombies safely, except the young men whose fashionably baggy pants prevented them from running away. So a woman talking about how much she appreciates her new small Beretta pistol. That this is a story of self-control and marksmanship by a brave, cool-headed woman with a small pistol against a fierce predator. What is the smallest caliber that you would trust to protect yourself? A Beretta Jetfire testimonial. Here is her story in her own words. "While out walking along the edge of a pond just outside the Villages with my soon-to-be ex-husband, discussing property settlement and other divorce issues, we were surprised by a huge 12-foot alligator, which suddenly emerged from the murky water and began charging us with its large jaws wide open. She must have been protecting her nest because she was extremely aggressive. If I had not had my little Beretta Jetfire 25 caliber pistol with me, I would not be here today. Just one shot to my estranged husband's kneecap was all it took. The gator got him easily, and I was able to escape by just walking away at a brisk pace. It's one of the best pistols in my collection. Plus, the amount I saved in lawyer's fees was really incredible."
And thank you for that very sincere statement about marital bliss. Mr. Treasurer, Darren Dicker. And legislative report.
With apologies, I gave Mark a copy of excerpt from the one-click page after June 1st when the bills died in the House they were in. It's California-related legislation. What I didn't realize when I copied it over is it dropped a digit off the bill numbers, so they're wrong. The easiest way to keep track of it is just go to calendar.com and look at the legislative report. But the bill numbers should have been on the sheet. There's one of them that's 2 digits, AB 96. The rest of them should have been 3. It should have been AB 443, AB 499, AB 665, AB 950, and SB 347 and SB 707. Basically, the 3 bad bills made it out of the house they were in to the next house. So they're still looking at having you prove, for instance, let's say you own an antique firearm with ivory grips. If it's newer than the year 1900, you have to prove that the ivory was legally here, or we ban from possession. The other 2 are SB 347, which are also listed in the GOC flyer, about they're expanding a list of prohibited persons that can't have guns. The other one, SB 707, takes and it really extremely expands the definition of school grounds for those that we can't have a gun within 1,000 feet of, and it's going to include people with CCW permits. Basically, they want to turn the colleges in California, like the college in other states, to be a defense-free zone. So what I would recommend you do is look at that website. When you look at it, there's only 6 bills that are still there. 3 bad ones and 3 good ones. Don't know where they're going, but stay on top of them. Basically, we have between June 1st and August 31st to stop these stop 3 bills and support 4. And the GOC list wasn't complete, so I still, as much as it pains me to send you back to Cal and Array, that is the page is current. And basically, when you look at it, it'll have a list of bills on it, and the ones that are yellow are active. So when you go to that page, it's too expensive to print in color. Those are still up, and they call us for help. So go to the page, write the email, be part of the force that helps drive these bills down to see where we're at. But again, my apologies. So we're in the reduction period where most of the bills are gone. The last week of August, they're probably going to try and cram bills for the last week, so that'll be the time for people to pay attention. And you get some alerts on that. That'll be after the barbecue. And regarding the barbecue, we will have the 22 range again this year. We're having it at the top reaction area. It's easier to do, reactive targets, kids, families, whatever. I can always use volunteers. In addition, that particular month, there's 5 clubs that I do a 22 range for. So if you want to come down and get some mentoring about how to work with kids, and in the April NRA magazine, there was a little pamphlet about mentoring, how to teach. There were some good pamphlets in there, so we'll have handouts. Once a month, the 10th Street Range on the second Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. has an open house. There's more and more opportunities to take people shooting for free. We need to expand the volunteer base. I'm getting more guns and ammo from the stores. But I would love to see every range in the area, because we've got 8 of them, offer 1 day a month for teaching people to shoot. It's important we do that. We explain why we are involved in it. But basically, we decided to build our own core of volunteers, just like Mike Varner had one for his BB gun range. Except where we can do it, we want to use 22s and real guns. So you're more welcome to stop by, give you some mentoring materials, teach you how to teach. If you can help for an hour or 2 that day, relieve us, But there'll be a number of opportunities down there, and eventually Coyote Valley Sporting Place is going to have me and some of my volunteers down there once a month, so that he always has a public day where people can come learn to shoot a rifle for free. So it's a lot of fun. So if you want to get involved in that sort of training and teaching process, get a hold of me, or stop by that first day. I've got a barbecue on the 2nd, a barbecue on the weekend in between, I forget Saturday and Sunday, our barbecue, and then safari clubs later that month. So there's plenty of chance to learn how to teach people to shoot and get involved, and we make a point of being political when we do it, because free speech is allowed. So thanks.
Thank you, sir. All right, let's see. Webmaster report, Mr. Frederick Hoot. Nothing to say. Okay, you sure? Mm-hmm. Not even going to wag the camera back and forth like you're handling them. Okay, never mind. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Now, once again, just a reminder, a lot of good articles that we drug up here. If you haven't gotten these, please review them. A great little piece here about Obama's gun control rhetoric and how they just sort of make up data or develop the data when they don't have it, to refresh a point. We've got some good work by Representative Bishop of the current BATFE and some of the abuses they're involved with. We've got the brand new Loretta Lynch, and what's Obama do? He gives 12 new anti-gun regulatory proposals. This will work right away, screwing things up. And thank you very much for the would-be senators in the Republican Party who allowed her to get through. Police gun control survey, good little piece there from a standpoint of someone who's a cop and what they really think about that. A piece here, I don't know if you're familiar with the gentleman Eugene Robinson, very famous liberal anti-white racist who works for other things, and his thoughts regarding gun control. Some data here from the Federalist about mass killings. Mr. Obama likes to talk about America being so bad in that area. Well, he really doesn't know what he's talking about. There's a good list of stuff up there. NRA, ILA, gun blogs, videos, web forms written by new Obama regulation. He's trying to use to create regulations so it makes it impossible to talk about guns at all. The exchange of technical information, you follow the regulation, and you could be in trouble. And then a really good piece here from Amazon.com regarding the Second Amendment and why we should not compromise with those people who ask for compromise. They really don't want compromise, they want defeat. Yes, sir?
You might want to keep an eye on your mayors, too. You might want to keep an eye on your mayors in the city.
Mayor's gun control, Bloomberg stuff?
He was in Obama was in San Francisco, and he was trying to get the mayors involved in gun control.
Be scared. All right. I'm sorry, someone had there was another question? No? Yeah? All right.